Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where I've just gone through and I think removed all of the crosswalks with any of our on-ramps and off-ramps. Any that exist have been removed. I did not necessarily upgrade the on-ramps and off-ramps all to highway, which maybe I should, but we'll see how that goes. Also, this up here was not upgraded to highway, so I did that. And that's absolutely great. Of course, we are lacking on and off ramps right here. So we really should do that. Let's hop over into one lane, one way highway, curve tool, and turn snapping off for purposes of working on this. And we'll bring this on over and run in, if I can find the page up key. There we go. Right on in about here. Cool. And then out and down somewhere around here or so. I want that to be, I think, a little bit better here. Yeah, that's a little too far, I think. So somewhere around... Where are we? Where are we? Here we are. Somewhere around here. Approximately. It'll do. So that's fine for now, and then we can, of course, let's see, that's on and off, and then we need an off-ramp here, and then an on-ramp. So that would go somewhere around here or so, 90 degrees, and down. That's giving slope too steep. Okay, so we may have to extend this out slightly longer. There we go. That's the right height. Okay, so it doesn't want to build it over here. We'll try it over here first then. So we'll build it about like this. That works. That is definitely a little bit wider of an on-off ramp there, but it might be necessary here with the slope too steep. So then this would go about here. We can probably tighten this one in a little bit, but I think it's okay. I think it's fine. We have a little bit of room for building in there, too. So that'll be absolutely okay. There was also one other location that I flagged that we needed some on-off ramps, and that was right here, actually. Specifically, it's just this block. So we'll get that set up here. That'll go about here or so. Bring that up and in. Phenomenal. And then down and in approximately over here. Nope. I hate it. I did not nail the 90 degrees over here. So we're going to try that one more time. Right up over this direction. So that needs to go right about there. And then it merges in down over this way. That's better. So that'll do. Phenomenal. That gives us a lot more of these. And then we have to think about what are we in terms of progress for getting this done. Well, this highway up here needs some work yet, and our university is going to make that somewhat complicated. We'll have to figure out a new home for the university, for sure. And then we've got a fair amount of vertical avenues here. We've got one avenue here, one avenue here. Actually, I say a fair amount. There's only two. We're getting close on that. Beautiful. And then we've got Mill Avenue and Mulberry Avenue here. So both of those, or actually all four of those, need to get upgraded. They're not upgraded yet, but we may want to wait for a little bit to get those ones upgraded, specifically because, well, we do have about 1 million right now. How much would it cost to move the university, as a hypothetical? 200,000. That's a lot. Okay, that is certainly a lot. We could certainly think about upgrading Birdsong Avenue over here. I think that would probably be a pretty good candidate. I would love to upgrade Concord Highway here and have this just, go out over this way. That would be amazing, and also have it go this way. The question is, how are we going to handle it with the dam? Because it's going to have to go down over here, I think, and head to the ground. It is. It is something that we can certainly do, though. Yeah, that's viable. So we would remove this area out over here, right? So we would remove everything down this way for right now. And then that would have to connect in over here. It's going to be a little bit off-grid anyway because of how this had to be set up previously. We could potentially... How much would it cost to move the dam? You literally can't. Okay, that makes sense. To be clear, I'm glad that you can't move the dam. So we're going to leave the dam exactly where it's at, and we're going to extend this highway straight on out here. I do want snapping on for this, and we're just going to bring this guy out at 180 degrees. No, I don't want curve tool. No curve tool, thank you. Okay, 180 degrees here. This is 180. And then we'll just park it right about here. And then we'll use curve tool. Bringing this out to about here. Bringing it down. And just moving it somewhat gracefully down into the dam. Like that. That'll be the idea there. Now, we've got ourselves a bit of a problem with this highway. It'll have to be knocked back a little bit, obviously. And we've potentially got a problem with these power lines. The power lines are probably going to have to be changed. Indeed, they are. So, to that end, we could certainly... I don't think we can extend the roads out right now, right? So, as a hypothetical, overlapping items... What are we overlapping there? The highway. That's interesting. I wouldn't expect to be overlapping the highway there. And we're not. Okay. Sure. I guess that's one way to do things. This road would, of course, need to be extended out over this way, and we would want this to go from this point 112 meters, right? So we'd want it to go right there. And then we would connect it in over here. That is, of course, going to cause us a problem with our power line. So the power lines, for the moment, are going to be pulled out of here. We're going to need to hook those up separately. But for right now, we're just getting this small area done. So we're going to connect up over here. Looks good. We're going to connect up here. Looks good. Connecting here-ish. We're getting overlapping items from the highway here, but we can actually connect it up right there just fine. So no problem there. And in we go. Phenomenal. Then this highway here can be brought in to one of these intersections. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do our two-lane, two-way highway. And that is just going to come straight on in like so. At kind of this slight corner here. So it's going to be a slightly awkward intersection here, but that'll be fine for now. Cool. So then we need to bring this over one more section over here. So this needs to be moved 112 meters out this way. And then it needs to go straight down, but we may need to actually link it in to this intersection here. So if that's the case, we may want to use the curve tool and have it come down something a bit more like this so that we have better coverage over here. It's not perfect coverage by any means, but it'll do for now. We may revisit that later on. We'll see. Now, as far as Crescent Street goes, which is really an avenue, I do think that this is a good candidate for upgrading. The Concord Highway, we're going to have some awkward on-off ramps over here. I think there's not really a great way around that. Although one thing we could do, I suppose, is we can build this guy up to here. No curve tool, please. So we build this guy up to here, and we just bring this straight on in. Ooh, 93 degrees. Hang on. This is not straight at all. Let's try that one again. So that comes straight up over here. Now we're getting overlapping items. But we can do this. Okay, whatever. So we can just bring this in like so. There we go. And then we can branch this out to be here, which we know is where we're supposed to be connecting here. And the reason I'm doing this is for purposes of on-off ramps over here. We're probably going to remove some of these roads at some point. Okay, so that's 90 degrees there. Gotcha. We're probably going to remove some of these roads at some point because we've got these guys down over here, right? But we're not at that point yet. So this is now going to be out to here. So this needs to be, instead of being 112, it goes to here, which is 125. So that's half of the distance. So we actually need this to go to 250. Well, 248 works, I guess. So we bring it down like that, and as a hypothetical, this connects in here. Okay, we're actually too far over. So we can definitely back this off a little bit. We're going to have to redo these power lines, so let's get those fully out of here for the moment. And let's pull Empire Street out of there for the moment as well. I want to just pull this street straight up to this point here. Well, that's awkward. It moved on me. Yeah, we care about the horizontal position, and we're moving horizontally. So I guess we should maybe turn off snapping to everything except guidelines. Or actually, I want to also snap to 90-degree angles. So something like this would be what we'd be targeting here. So that's a 90-degree angle. We are on the guidelines. That's 90 degrees. It moved again. Okay. That is, I think, because we're snapped to the 90 degrees here. That's real awkward. Okay. Well, we'll just have to bring this out over this direction. Like, this is going to be 112 here, right? Let's turn on all snapping. This is going to be 112 right here. And the question is that correct? 89 degrees. So no. It should be right here. So now we've got it. Okay. That's the correct positioning. That was awkward. No doubt about that. Okay. So we'll take this back to 112, and we'll bring this over to specifically here, snapping to the center of the road. And now we're going to start to run into overlapping items out over here, of course. And we're going to remove all of these power lines for the moment. This is all going to have to be redone. We're going to have to run power over here. That's definitely a thing that is going to have to happen. But I want to bring a 2-lane one-way road over here if we can. We can. Which, of course, means we're slightly off with our grid here, but we could just do a small adjustment here. And that may not be the worst idea. So we take this to 112, and we're just going to snap this up over here, like so. Cool. And then we would bring this guy over to 112. I guess 113 is okay. And we would bring you on in. Next, I'm going to remove this tiny little section of road. Then we're going to want to have this come up over here, right? But that's an overlapping item. So we're going to have to put in a curve here. Like that. Mildly awkward, but that does allow us to fit the incineration plant in here quite tightly. So I think that's a reasonable thing there. Now, we're going to have to rerun the power line, right? And the question is, can we just bring this out over this way? And the answer is yes, we can. I'd like to elevate it up and bring it over the highway here. And then we're going to bring it a ways out of the way, basically straight on up to the border over here. And then I'm going to bring this guy straight on up to the border as well. There's that highway there, which is, you know, mildly awkward. But we would bring this up, and the angle we would want to be... Why would that be a 0-degree angle? Okay, that's interesting. Probably because that's 90 degrees to the dam here. I guess that makes sense. So we'll just run this up here for now. That's okay. And we're just going to hook this in like that. Okay, so now we're going to need to hook these guys together. So we can bring this out to here-ish. Yeah, that gives overlapping items. So we're going to have to do something kind of like this, which is kind of a mess of wiring, to be sure. But that is doable. So that works for now. No major problem there. And that, of course, allows us to do on-off ramps here. I say knowing full well that we're going to need a ramp right where this is. Okay, well, that's going to be awkward. Out of curiosity, can we hook this guy in here? Well, we're getting overlapping items there. So then we do that. And then we bring this up and over like that, and hopefully that'll be okay. But now we've got this guy here, of course. So that's going to have to be removed as well. And we're going to need this power line to connect over to about here. Like that, in theory. The power lines are going to be an issue, but we do need high voltage lines going through this area. So we don't really have an option there. Let's grab ourselves our highway here, and we need to do on-ramp here. Okay, so that goes about here-ish. Turn snapping off, thank you very much. Approximately here. We'll take that up to about here. That was not in curved mode. Okay, let's try that again. One more try. Phenomenal. Up to about here, and we'll raise it up. Cool. Now we'll bring this out and down. This is not the angle that I really wanted it at. So this would be right there. And then we bring this down to about here. Okay, that'll do for now. And then we would need an off-ramp here. Wonderful. That's interesting. It's not actually building off of this. Ah, we're up slightly higher. Okay. So I wonder what this is going to do for us with regard to making our way down here. Yeah, that slope too steep here. So that's certainly going to be interesting. We might want to take this section of highway out and rebuild just this. Turn the snapping back on. And bring this out at a better height, in theory. And just connect it up kind of like this. Is that actually at a better height, though? The land drops off here, so we actually need to not have it be like that. We do need to build this separately. We need to build it from here. And I want to check our height. Okay, yep, we're on the correct height step. And then we need to build it down over here. I want it to more follow the contours of the land. And then it comes up over here. Now, technically, that's not 100% straight. But with the contour of the land being followed, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. So now we're going to do our off-ramps here, turning snapping back off, going into curve tool. And that will allow us to bring this out more like that. Magnificent. So then we bring this one out to about here, bring it up, and call it good about here. Okay, wonderful. We can do the same thing out over here, more on-off ramps. So that's going to go about here and be brought up a little bit. Sure. And then be brought out over this direction and down. About here is probably fine. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it's okay. So then we skip this one. We put it here. Yeah, this is where the roundabout would be. That'll be absolutely fine. So we're going to bring this up and out 90 degrees. And down. This is so much easier without using the snapping, to be honest. The snapping doesn't work that well for on-off ramps, in my opinion. I want this to go out a little further, I think. About here? Yeah. about here. Cool. Not perfectly symmetrical, but that's okay. And then this, of course, is not going to require anything, but now we do here. So we're going to bring this out over approximately here or so. That's showing overlapping items. Do we have a height issue here again? Confirmed. Okay, so we're going to need to make sure that this conforms better to the height of the land throughout here. That'll be fine. We can certainly do that. We'll turn snapping back on, and we'll bring this down to about here. About here. And then about here. Cool. So that conforms better to the land there. And now we can get these, as we switch back over to on-ramp mode, we can get these built on out here. About there, and about there. I say as I realize I built it backwards. Okay. Yeah, I don't want it to go that way. I want it to go the other direction. So we want to build from here up to about here. And then from here over to about here. There we go. That'll do. Now we can head up over here, and this is going this direction. We need to be up. There we go. And bring it out. I don't like this positioning. Yeah, closer to here. Perfect. And we'll get this out to about here and up. Sure, that'll do. Okay, so that'll be fine. We've got those good to go. Now the question is, what do we need to work on now? Well, there's actually a fair amount that we still need to work on. Moving this university is actually a pretty big priority at this moment. I'm going to place it here. This is probably not a final location for it. And we should be good to extend the road out this way at least. So that'll be fine. And that will allow us to elevate the rest of what is now Thornton Street. So that's fine. We can definitely work on that. We can get rid of this roundabout here if we can get there. There we go. And then we can take these on out of here. Phenomenal. And then we can extend the highway just straight on out. Snapping on, and in straight line tool, I want to be in the dead center here, and we're going to place it here. Excellent. Right there. Yeah, that's looking good. So 180 degrees for each of these. And we'll just put it out to about here. We don't have to build it further than that, although we certainly could. We could take it all the way out over this direction, and I guess there's no real reason not to for right now. We could do that. Sure. Why not? As far as getting this built over here goes, it's going to be a bit complicated with the dam there. I think we'll get back to that, but for now, that's not going to be a high priority. So we do need to get our roads built out over here, just so that we can get on-off ramps going. And that, of course, means that we build this guy over to here. And then we bring these right on in like so. And we're going to have a number of these that need to get built, of course. I'm going to build these all the way over to here. And then we'll just connect up like so. That's technically 179 degrees. Ooh, I hate it. That's 180. Perfect. Okay. I don't know why some of these snap to 179. I think it's because I have, like, slightly the wrong lane snapped on here or something, but it's fine. We can control the lane flow, I've noticed, by the way, by what we snap, or how this gets snapped in. But in my opinion, there are much better ways to do that. Like the way that Traffic Manager did it in Cities Skylines 1. That was amazing, and I want to see that in Cities Skylines 2, for sure. So we've got this all good to go. We do need to get some on-off ramps built over here, but for now, it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to get these built up, and we're going to continue to work on getting all of these upgraded. We're making solid progress on this, but we're not there yet. We've got a few to go. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.